On this channel, I read scripture and then I talk about it, and today I'm talking about hungering and thirsting for righteousness. I'm in Cambodia here at my family's house, and there's some kind of party going on back behind me. I'm just hoping that it's not too loud to be distracting. But this is Matthew chapter 5, verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. I want to ask you today, do you genuinely hunger and thirst for righteousness? Think about when you're hungry or thirsty for a given food or drink. You are not comfortable. You're actively yearning for whatever that is that's going to satisfy your needs. Likewise, if you are hungry for righteousness, you are uncomfortable when you are not actively seeking out righteousness. But when you do actively live for God and chase those opportunities to grow closer to Him and allow Him to sanctify you through the work of the Spirit, then you are satisfied because you are pursuing that and gaining that righteousness from God. When you get dehydrated, you crave water or something that's going to otherwise refresh you in some way. You do not crave a piping hot cup of black coffee in those moments. Now, water and coffee are very different, but they're definitely not polar opposites. But with righteousness and evil, they are polar opposites. So that whole analogy becomes even stronger in light of this discussion here. If you hunger genuinely for righteousness, then your craving for evil, that natural appetite of your sinful flesh, goes away, and it cannot satisfy you in the same way that righteousness will. And a few chapters later, in Matthew 6, verse 24, Jesus says, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other." Now, of course, we know that in this specific instance, Jesus is comparing God and money. And that truth definitely applies there, obviously, but it also applies to the more all-encompassing issue of righteousness versus evil. You cannot serve that pursuit of righteousness and evil simultaneously. If there are areas in your life in which you would say, I might be pursuing evil, then you might want to consider how much hunger do you truly have for God. A simple benchmark for that is found in Psalm 63 verse 1. David says, "O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land where there is no water." How hungry are you for righteousness? How hungry are you for God's presence? Are you doggedly pursuing Him every day? If you could not honestly say yes, if you don't think you really have that desire to know God, to pursue Him daily, then I want you to consider that. I want you to pray. I want you to ask Him for that determination to pursue Him anew. I want you to ask Him for the Spirit, because you might have the Spirit, but you've ignored it. You've allowed His voice to become dull in your life. Or you might never have had the Spirit to begin with. And in that case, I encourage you to ask God for what He freely provides to us, His people.